Many manufacturers have won at the classic North American endurance race, the 12 Hours of Sebring. Some brands have won the event just once, others have won it a handful of times, and very few have dominated this 12-hour endurance race. So in this video, let's take a look at the top 10 manufacturers to win the 12 Hours of Sebring overall. Starting off with number 10, and this is where I've put Maserati. The Italian manufacturer only took victory once at Sebring, but that was enough for me to put them on this list. This achievement was secured at just the 6th edition of this event, where Maserati battled with Ferrari and Jaguar for overall victory at the 1957 12 Hours of Sebring. The Maserati cars were running really good across the race, especially in the hands of the 5-time Formula One world champion Juan Manuel Fangio. In the final moments of the race, there was a mistake when a mechanic accidentally poured a large amount of fuel in the cockpit of the leading Maserati entry. However, even though this was a horrible situation, this didn't stop Fangio from crossing the line in first. He, along with co-driver Jean Berra, would bring the Maserati 450S to victory lane, giving the Italian manufacturer their first win at the event. Their entry would be followed by the second factory car, the Maserati 300S, which would finish in second, just 2 laps down off the leader. Number 9. Mazda. This is another brand to just win the 12 Hours of Sebring once. However, this win in 2020 was a commanding victory for the Japanese marque. This achievement was secured by the Mazda DPI race car, and the number 55 Multimatic Mazda entry was also in a battle for the IMSA championship between itself and the number 7 Penske Acura. During the event, the Mazda DPI race cars showed off some incredible pace, and at the end of it, after a fierce battle for the lead, the number 55 Mazda crossed the line in first with the second car in third. However, this would not be enough to win the overall championship in IMSA, but this would give Mazda their first and only victory at the 12 Hours of Sebring, which was a huge achievement for the Japanese brand. By the way, if you want to know more information about the Mazda DPI race car, I made a full video, which I'll link in the description down below. Number 8. BMW. The German auto manufacturer took victory at the 12 Hours of Sebring with 2 different iconic race cars. BMW's first victory at Sebring came in 1975, and that was during the incredible domination of endurance racing by the iconic BMW 3.0 CSL. BMW won this event overall again in 1999 with the iconic BMW V12 LMR. This is the same car that took victory at the 24 Hours of Le Mans that very same year. This exact number 42 BMW, which I actually saw in real life at Laguna Seca, and it truly is an incredible car, was not just BMW's last winner of the 12 Hours of Sebring, but it was also the last prototype to win before Audi came and dominated the event in the early 2000s. I'll get into that story a little bit later on. Number 7. Peugeot. I just talked about the brand that won before the Audi domination, but what about the brand that won after? At the 2010 12 Hours of Sebring, Peugeot dominated the event, and the French auto manufacturer brought 2 diesel-powered 908 HDI FAP entries. The 07 factory Peugeot, driven by Alexander Wurz, Anthony Davidson, and Marc Genet, crossed the line in first, with the sister car, the 08, in second. A year later, with the return of Audi, Peugeot was once again successful at the 12 Hours of Sebring. The 2011 race was won by actually a customer 908 HDI FAP. Team Oreca Matmut took victory with the number 10 car, driven by Nicolas Lapierre, Loïc Duval, and Olivier Panis. And even though the factory cars didn't win, the number 8 Peugeot did finish third overall. But it was still a successful result for Peugeot in general, because they did beat Audi. The 2 R15 TDIs did finish in 4th and 5th behind Peugeot. Number 6. Ford. Like the 24 Hours of Le Mans, Ford dominated the 12 Hours of Sebring in the late 1960s. Victory for the American manufacturer first came in 1966. This win at Sebring was secured by Shelby American Incorporated, and the car that did it was the Ford GT40 in its X1 version. Victory at Sebring came again for Ford the year later in 1967, this time with the Mark V version of the Ford GT40. And even though they lost out to Porsche in 1968, Ford as a manufacturer won again in 1969, thanks to JW Engineering's Ford GT40 Mark I. And even though 69 was their final overall victory, Ford most definitely left an imprint on the Sebring circuit's history. Number 5. Nissan. The other Japanese marque on this list, Mazda, has 1 victory here, whereas Nissan has 4. Nissan was one of the main manufacturers to win during the Group C era of the late 80s and early 90s. They first won the 12 Hours of Sebring in 1989. The number 83 Nissan GTP ZX Turbo finished 2 laps ahead of the nearest car, as Nissan conquered manufacturers such as Jaguar and Porsche. After victory in '89, Nissan continued to win, by winning the 1990 and 91 editions of the 12 Hours of Sebring. And even after the Group C regulations ended, Nissan won again at Sebring. Cunningham Racing's Nissan 300ZX Turbo took victory at Sebring in 1994. This is also the same kind of Nissan that won the Rolex 24 earlier that year. Oh, and by the way, the Nissan name appeared on the winners list many years later at the 12 Hours of Sebring, as they were an engine supplier for the Tequila Patron ESM Run DPI entry, which won the 2018 version of this event. Number 4. Cadillac. As of recording this, Cadillac is the most recent winner of the 12 Hours of Sebring. They've won the event a record 5 times. Cadillac dominated the DPI era here at Sebring, when they won first in 2017 and again in 2019. The entire podium was swept with Cadillac DPI VRs. And since 2021, Cadillac has won the 12 Hours of Sebring every single time, whether that be through the DPI era or the new GTP era. And even though they're 4th on this list, in the next few years with the rate they're going at, Cadillac could be ranked higher. Moving on to the top 3, and in spot 3, I've placed Audi. After BMW's win in 1999, Audi pretty much dominated the 12-hour endurance race from that point onward. Audi has won the 12 Hours of Sebring 11 times, and they have done so with 4 different kinds of Audi prototypes. Audi's first win at the event came in 2000 thanks to the legendary R8 race car, and eventually the German auto manufacturer won the event with the R8 and the successor, the R10 TDI, for a total of 7 times in a row. Audi missed out from winning the event in 2008 because of the Porsche Penske RS Spyder, but returned to winning ways in 2009 with the all-new R15 TDI. And after Peugeot's short winning streak at Sebring, Audi won again in 2012 and 2013 with the iconic R18. Number 2. Ferrari. Ferrari has the drive and passion to be successful in motor racing, and that's exactly what they've done ever since their first win here at Sebring in 1956. The prestigious Italian manufacturer is placed number 2 on this list because they have a total of 12 overall victories at this event. At the 12 Hours of Sebring, they've taken 3 overall victories in the 1950s, they dominated the race in the early 1960s, they took 2 wins in the 1970s, and most recently they took 3 overall victories in the late 1990s, predominantly coming from the Ferrari 333 SP. So as you can tell, Ferrari are quite successful at the 12 Hours of Sebring, but since they're second on this list, that means they're not the most successful. Number 1. Porsche. This German manufacturer is considered to be the greatest and most successful brand in endurance racing. And like other famous events, Porsche is successful here too. The brand secured their first victory at the 12 Hours of Sebring all the way back in 1960. Thanks to the Porsche RS60. And ever since that first win with the RS60, Porsche has been very successful at Sebring with a variety of race cars, including the likes of the 907, the iconic 917K, the Carrera RSR, the 934 and 935, the 962, and of course, most recently, the Porsche Penske RS Spyder in 2008. And the interesting part about Porsche's success is that, like Cadillac, Porsche could win again here at Sebring, as they're currently competing in the event with the 963. So technically, Porsche's current tally of 18 wins could extend to a higher amount of wins in the future. The fact is, Porsche is the most successful manufacturer at the 12 Hours of Sebring, and they will continue to be so as time progresses. So, those were the top 10 manufacturers to win the 12 Hours of Sebring. Which one of these manufacturers were you most surprised to see on this list? Well, let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly suggest you do so, considering I make endurance racing content mainly on WEC and IMSA every single week. And if you want to see another video, check out the options on the screen. So for now, that's it from me. I'll see you all in the next video.